Okay, so what we're going to do is today we're going to make tamales, our Christmas tamales. I have here 6 cups of maseca. That's the special flour for tamales. To that I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of ground cumin, and 2 tablespoons of chili powder. In this case I'm using chipotles, smoked poblano chipotle pepper, poblano. That's the second time I said that. A smoked chipotle chili powder, and that's going to add a nice smokiness to the masa. I'm just going to mix that all in. And the chili powder and cumin, as well as adding flavor, add a nice color to the finished tamal. Now to that, I'm going to make a little well in the center. And I'm going to add 2 cups of vegetable oil and a quart, 2 quarts of the stock that I cooked the chicken in. And that's been seasoned with aromatics like onion, garlic, cilantro, sweet bell peppers, black whole peppercorn, bay leaf, and we're just going to work that in. That's on low heat. Okay, I have to take a peek at my achote dough, achote oil. And then you could very easily take a whisk to this to break up any lumps that you may have in there. It really gets under the arm, picks up all of the masa. Make sure you scrape the bottom of the bowl. Give it a good whisk. I don't see any big lumps in there anymore. Good. And then I'm going to let that sit for a second while I make the picadillo. And today's picadillo, I'm going to make a chicken picadillo, and I'm going to make it nice and spicy. Because that's how I like it. So what I did was, I have 3 tablespoons of achote oil, and I'm just going to strain that. You can see what a pretty color that achote oil is. And that's going to add a nice brightness to the poached chicken. And to that I'm going to add a cup of sofrito that I just finished making. You see how I make it for the week? And the rest of it I'll put in my nice baggies and have it in the freezer for the rest of the week. And I'm going to hit that with high heat. To that sofrito I'm going to add a half minced jalapeno. Like I said, I made baby tamales earlier in the day, but these are the adult tamales. I want them to have a little heat. Let's make our picadillo a little more interesting. I'm going to add some manzanilla salad, acaparrado. And that will add a nice, sharp, acid, briny note that I love. I'm just going to get that all mixed in. And I want it to sizzle before I add the chicken. To that I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh ground pepper. And I'd love to do that if I could find the pepper now. And I want to add a touch of clove. And I think that's gonna really set this aside from other chicken picadillo is going to add a nice little note to our dish. To this I'm going to add 5 cups of shredded chicken. You can use, I prefer to use dark meat or a mixture of light and dark, because just white meat, I think you tend to have a dry picadillo. The dark meat lends a nice juicy note. Doesn't that look pretty? I want it to be completely coated so the sofrito and the spices flavor the meat completely. Let's taste for salt. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. You know what? Maybe a pinch more salt. And that's it. That's my picadillo for my tamales. It doesn't have to be real complicated. You don't have to add tomato sauce to this. It's going to be perfect just like that. Here's my pepper mill. Mix. Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer the picadillo to my bowl, to my work bowl here where I have the chicken. And we'll set up our tamal making station. Perfect. Okay. Let me clean up a little housekeeping here. And here's the way we do it. I have my baking sheet. This I don't need, this I need. I need a tablespoon. Okay, so I have these corn husks soaking in hot water, and as you can see, these are a nice size. These are a nice size. These are a little bit smaller, so what I'll do is I'll just put 2 of them together to extend. You want a good 6-7 inches, and the masa has set up a little bit. And I'm going to add my picadillo. Make sure I get some olive in there, some chicken. My mother's going to say, make sure you have enough meat in there. No me da el tamal ciego. Okay, Ma, plenty of meat in there. And then we're just gonna roll this little puppy over. Make sure that he's nice and tucked in. I have my seam side up, and I'm going to tuck the tail back, and there's my first tamal. Okay, let's make another one. And usually we make pasteles in my house for Nochebuena, but I thought that this year it'd be nice to switch things up a little bit. And I mean, people often get the feeling, I'm just going to pick this up with my fingers, that tamales is a big labor-intensive thing, and it kind of is, but now with maseca, it's an easier process, I think. And you just saw me make the picadillo in real time. And you can make your picadillo, again, pork, traditional pork, or beef, or like I'm doing now, chicken. You could put raisins in there and tuck. I mean, and this is, you can see how easy this is. I can actually talk, and it's like patting my head and rubbing my belly at the same time, right? Making tamales and talking and teaching at the same time. And there's, oh, that chicken smells delicious. And you want to make sure you get some olives in there, and it's got just a little bit of heat from the jalapeno. Of course, I use jalapeno because I don't know all of my company what their heat tolerance is. You could use an habanero. You can put different, you could put rajas in there. Those would be delicious. Okay. And let's do one more. You have that nice wide leaf, and the fact that you soak them renders the husks pliable. I'm going to go ahead and make nice healthy sized tamales. Put my chicken right down the center. And I'm going to steam these about 45 minutes in a vegetable steamer or bamboo steamer, or some, if you know you have a rack with a pan, just roll this right over on itself. Make my tamal, roll it up, pick it up, and tuck the tail in. And there we go. Christmas tamales at Daisy's. Feliz Navidad!